Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to install this Kohler semi-professional pull-down kitchen faucet that I picked up to replace my 3-hole faucet that I have here in the kitchen. This thing has actually been leaking and I've been repairing it, but it just continues to leak. So I've just decided to change out this entire faucet. It's a 3-hole faucet. If you count the sprayer, it will be 4 holes, but I'm just going to change out the 3-hole faucet with this Kohler brand. It's a semi-professional pull down kitchen faucet that I picked up. So stay tuned to this video and I'm going to walk you through how to get this thing installed inside of a kitchen. So let's get started. This video is not sponsored. I actually paid for this Kohler pull down kitchen faucet out of pocket. So I will include a link where I picked up this Kohler faucet for the kitchen in case you would like to pick up the same style faucet. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and I'm going to show you what's coming inside of the box. First thing is coming with some instructions on how to put this thing in. So I have these if I need it. So let's see what we are getting. So it's coming with the pull down faucet. The pull down sprayer, water lines are already connected. Set that to the side. Looks like a weight and some type of black tube that came inside of the box. Also coming with it's the 3-hole plate and it has the gasket already attached. Also coming in the box some additional hardware and looks like a little plastic gasket and a big washer. So we'll look at the directions and see how this is going to actually get installed. But everything is in the kit, is in the box for this installation, and I'll walk you through how to get this thing set up. Let's go under the sink and see what it takes to get this 3-hole faucet removed. So as we look underneath the sink, we have a couple of water lines that must be disconnected before we can remove the old 3-hole sink. So we have a cold side, which is usually on the right, has to be disconnected. And we also have a hot side here on the left. Now, the thing about changing out sinks is that you should just be able to turn off the water valve to stop the water flow. But sometimes on the hot side, especially, the water valves, the little gasket inside of the water valves will continue to leak even though you have the valve completely turned off. So for this particular installation, Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to turn off the main water that comes to the home. But I'm still going to shut off these valves. This will be the cold side. You're going to turn it to the right. Righty-tighty. Turn it to the right. That turns off the cold side. And also, on the hot side, we're going to do the same. Just turn it to the right. And that should turn the water completely off. But again, sometimes these little gaskets or the packing inside of the valves, they wear out. So for my installation, I'm just going to turn off the main water from the street. Hey, to shut off the water, I'm just going to use this little T handle valve. You can pick these things up at the local hardware store, and you can use these things to shut off your water. So to shut off the water, I'm going to open up the water access that covers the water valve. And basically what I'm going to do is turn off this valve. You want to make sure that this valve, if it's running in line with the pipe, the water is running. If you turn it a quarter of a turn, that should turn the water off. So I'm going to take my water key and I'm going to shut off the water. Turn that valve. And the water should be completely cut off. You can also line up these holes. That's a great indication to show you how the water is cut off. So I've turned off the main supply of water. I'm going to just verify that the water is off. I'm just going to go ahead and open up the faucets, and I just want to verify that the water is actually off. So it's going to be a few drips. You want to just leave this open just to make sure that the water is off. So once you verify that the water is actually off, just going to take a water pan and to catch some of the water, just in case that there is still some water left inside of the line. So I'm going to take my crescent wrench, make sure that the faucet is turned off. Just going to take my crescent wrench with my drip pan in place and disconnect this water line. So you're going to get a little bit of water. That's why it's good to have a pan to catch some of this water that's going to remain inside of the line until it's drained out. That's normal. And then you can take a little rag, put that underneath the bottom as well. I'm gonna move over to the hot side. So take my little wrench, my crescent wrench, and I'm gonna disconnect the hot side. Thing about working under these sinks, you're working in limited space. Take your drain pan, get it in position. I'm gonna get my drain pan into position. Let that drip off into the pan. So I'm just going to take my towel, wipe up any remaining water that's coming from the water line. So now that I have the water lines actually disconnected, this is the cold and this is the hot. The next step is disconnecting the 3-hole faucet from the actual counter. So to do this, and it's best if you have like a plumbing tool, but I'm just going to use my little crescent wrench. So I'm going to take my crescent wrench. They actually make a special tool that you can use to disconnect these water lines from up underneath the sink. That's specially designed to reach into these tight places. I'm just going to use my crescent wrench. And I'm just going to take my hand to see if I can disconnect it, the water line. So I got the cold side disconnected. Now I need to disconnect the hot side. Going to take my crescent wrench. Once I get it loose, I can pretty much turn it with my hand. It's a few turns, that thing. Just a little crescent wrench is all I'm using. They do make a special plumber's tool to reach up to turn those nuts, but I'm just gonna use my little crescent wrench and just do it the old-fashioned way. So now I have the water lines disconnected, okay? So the next step is to turn these little plastic, they got some little plastic nuts that needs to come off, okay? So there's one. And we have another nut here. Okay, there's two. So with this water line, I'm gonna disconnect it from the top side for the sprayer, okay? But I've disconnected the water lines, as you guys can see. So from underneath the sink, I've disconnected both water lines and both of these plastic nuts. And now we can go to the top side. So I've disconnected the faucet from underneath the sink. I'm just gonna pull up. So to get the sprayer, which is here, I'm just gonna try to press in on these blue tabs and pull this thing free. So I'm gonna take these pliers, see if I can squeeze the blue tab. Okay, that pulled it free. So now the 3-hole faucet is completely free, and I can push down the sprayer hose, and now I can remove this plate that goes over the 3-hole. I'm gonna clean this little area up, and then I'm gonna we'll get the sink set up to go over the 3 holes. So this thing is pretty much self-explanatory. We have a hot and cold side, and it should tell you right on the label. There it is there. This tells you cold. This will be the hot. The 3-hole is gonna go over. It's gonna go over our 3-hole. I'll show you that here in a second. We're gonna take the faucet. This part is gonna go down the center of the 3-hole. And we got a little plastic washer that's gonna go with the felt side down. So we're going to take this little washer, we're going to slide it over the water lines. We're going to slide this up, down the threads. That's going to sit. It kind of locks into position. It's got these little slots, so you're going to turn it and lock it in place. Okay. And it's got a little, I guess it's got this little plate here on the bottom. Give you guys a better view. So this thing here is going to cover up the 3 holes. And this little plate is going to go just like this. So it's no lock. It just slides like that. This is going to go down the center hole. We have a weight which we'll install this after we get the sink mounted. And we have another little deal here. And we have this little attachment with some Phillips screws. So once I actually drop this into the sink, then I'm going to come back and put this over the hose. And this is going to press up against the bottom of the sink to keep this faucet tight. So I'll show you how we get that installed. But for now, let's go ahead and get the faucet set over inside of the 3-hole. So we're going to take our faucet. And we got the plate. I'm going to drop this down the center hole. Feed your lines through. One of the things I want to point out is that there is this little notch here. So when you sit the faucet down in the hole, turn the faucet and it kind of locks it into this position. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's a little, kind of like a little lock. Once you get it in there, it's got these little 2 slots. Just kind of lock it into position, okay? Okay, now we can go to the bottom of the sink. Okay, now that I'm at the bottom of the sink, I'm just gonna get my hoses lined up to where I want them to feed. I got this washer. So the washer goes on first. I want to get all of my water lines. And I want to do this before I hook them up. I'm going to take my flat washer, slide it up. Just going to slide it up the threads. And I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to slide it up the threads. And keep in mind I'm working in limited space. So looking at the bottom of the sink, I put the washer on first. It's going to go up first. Then I'm going to slide. I'm going to turn this attachment that has the 2 Phillips screws. I'm going to turn that. Just going to turn this thing, and it's probably best to have another set of hands at the top of the sink to hold the sink in place until you can get this thing tightened down. probably a good idea to go ahead and loosen the Phillips screws just a bit. And I'm just turning this thing by hand. Next, I'm going to take my Phillips screwdriver going to pull the black hose all the way down. So now I can hook back up these water lines. I'm going to hook up the cold to the cold side. And then I'm going to hook up the hot to the hot side. I'm going to take my crescent wrench, tighten down the cold side. Okay, now I can do the hot side. This little crescent wrench comes in really handy when it comes to doing a sink replacement or a faucet replacement. So I've tightened down the cold side here. I've tightened down the hot side here. Still have an attachment here and here. So we got to get these two here actually connected. And this is where this black tube looks like it's going to come in handy. Okay, so with this weight, you're going to turn like so, push in. I'll take the other end, feed it up the line, and now you can tighten this thing down, and then you can adjust it to your desired position on the actual sprayer line. So I'm just going to set it about right here for now. I can always adjust it later. Okay, so now to get these connected, this end has threads. The end at the top looks like it's a push end. So if you take the black, this little connector that comes in the kit, looks like this one is going to just twist onto the threaded end. So I pushed it in and it snapped. I just pushed it in and it snapped. And that's the feeder that's coming from the sprayer from the top. The bottom just feeds in with threads. So you got threads on the very end and it snaps on the very top. And I can adjust this weight as needed once I go top side. It says flush the hose, run hot water and cold water for 1 minute through each side to remove debris before connecting the spray hose. So the next thing is to turn on the main water and see how this thing how it actually works. So I'm gonna take my water key and I'm gonna slowly turn this water back on. Just slowly turn it on. You don't want to turn it on fast because you don't want to have any water hammer. So just slowly turn this thing back on. You want to make sure that the valve is in line with the pipe. you'll know when the valve is in line with the pipe, and also you can see the water meter actually turning. So as you can see, the water's running. So I'm going to go underneath just to check for any leaks. I don't see any leaks. The only thing about my particular hookup is that I'm leaving the little manual sprayer, that 4-hole sprayer. I'm just going to leave it sitting to the side since I'm not going to hook it back up. Just going to leave that kind of sitting to the side. I'll take something and tie this up and just kind of have that out of the way. But there's no leaks. I don't see any water coming through. My lines are tight, and I'm just checking just to make sure that I don't have any leaks. So now I have this thing connected up, the 3-hole faucet. I'm just going to leave this little sprayer connected up for the 4-hole. It's not connected to anything, but it just covers up that hole. But it looks pretty good. It looks great. So to turn this thing on, you roll it forward. So back is cold, forward is hot. Okay, there we go. Pretty neat. Goes right into that magnet holder. I will include a link where I picked this thing up. It's a Kohler. Looks like Haku. I'm not sure if that's the part number, but there is no part number on the box. But I'll include a link where I picked this thing up. So stay tuned for a later review, for a long-term review of how this thing actually works over the long haul. But so far, everything works pretty good. I like the way it actually looks. It complements the existing granite countertops, covers the 3-hole, left in the original sprayer to cover the 4-hole, and this thing is really nice. So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put it down in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down in the comment section below. Thank you.